Evet, kaldığımız yerden devam ediyoruz. Hemen burayı bir inceleyelim bakalım neler varmış elinde.
A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps.
Yes, officer. As you see, it's in perfect working order. It was brought to me to be altered.
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property. You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard indoor plug. The light buzzes faintly, but persistently. This would make quite a statement in your living room. The boomboxes on the shelf look well-loved and well-traveled. Chipped, dented, they stare at you with the unblinking eyes of their tape reels. One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic with a big old handle on top. A classic boombox that says Stereo 8. This is you. Golden orange. A sunset suite.
Şimdiki deniz bu sensin.
Just make sure it works before you buy it.
Allah Allah.
Is the Harman Welsh W2, made in Vespa, designed in Seoul, plays all reel-to-reel formats, 2mm, 8mm, 12mm. It's even got a little radio.
Peki çalışıyor mu?
Absolutely. I've tested each one myself with recordings of speech, found sounds and music from a variety of genres, even though I don't really like music.
Tamam.
If police work means playing tapes, sure, you can use it for that. Or any
Odadaki
other
şeyler
time
geldi
you'd need to
aklıma.
play a tape.
Acaba işimizi görür mü? Dağınık şeyleri toparlayabilir mi acaba oralarda? Bizim kasetlerimiz vardı.
Toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback. Try to find something pretty and cool here. Then use it to win her back.
Kadını geri mi kazanıyor?
Yes. Buy something nice. A figurine. Big men on big horses, clad in lamella armor and carrying flintlocks, the kind that would mow down a line of enemy soldiers in the blink of an eye.
Arkadaki ses şu an şey yaptı.
I used to be very serious about these guys.
Allah Allah.
A long, long time ago.
Mavi üniformalar.
These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers. They are variously posed, wielding swords and rifles with bayonets.
This is what the loyalists looked like, yes, at first. Then they wised up and got camouflage.
Which ones? Ah, those. Yes, they are. I find the paint job a bit gaudy, but
This set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive. A few have rifles, but most of them carry pistols. Some
You're
Askerler
probably
mi?
talking about the revolutionaries, yes? Yes, they are soldiers, revolutionary soldiers. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win. Maybe.
%58. Verdim
everything
gitti.
you pick out seems faded, chipped, and sad somehow. Most of them are just broken toys.
El yatkınlığını 3 yapmamız gerekiyormuş. Peki. Birçok misiniz? Evet. Gidelim borcumuzu ödeyelim bakalım. Önce bir şuraları bakalım. Buraları merak etmedim değil ama. Her deliği karıştırırım burada şimdi. Al kapısı. Neymiş?
A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle from the now vacant holes.
Küçük bir
This
metal plaka
panel
bunun.
usually
Evet.
closes the water lock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed salmon and butter sign in the way. Pulling the lever probably won't do anything. You pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks against the contact pins. You hear a soft clunk. Then, nothing happens.
Daha sert
Nothing
kaldır.
happens. A cold gust of wind blowing in from the sea interrupts the silence of the... A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still
Çarşamba
need
günü
to
mü?
close the water lock to get across the canal. Some other way. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning?
Okey, tamam. Bir görev daha. Bu neymiş? Tereyağı tabelası devrilmiş. Peki. Peki. Buraya sonrasında tekrardan gelelim. Gidelim şu adama olan borcumuzu ödeyelim. Kim abiye de bir teşekkür edebiliyor muyum, bakayım mı?
Yes?
Hı?
Can I help you? Yes, have you got it? Well?
Ay. Adamın camını mamını kırdık. Kusura bak, hadi biraz kalbini alalım
Great.
adamın.
Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow.
He's not sorry about his behavior for your sake. Now that you have money, he really wants to make sure you're not angry with him.
I'll unlock the electronic lock to your room. All the doors lock automatically at 9 p.m. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
And
Yuh.
take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you?
Okey. Bizim eldivenimiz ne veriyormuş? El yatkınlığı da veriyor. Okey.
Can I help you?
Bu da buradan yer
Yes.
tuttu. Hadi gidelim o zaman. Kapılar. Okey.
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Just a moment. We should talk about our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
Olur. Bayağı sinematiğe falan girdi kendi kendine. Peki.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then,
Now then, we should talk about the investigation. But I also feel you're a bit hazy on the RCM. Our role here, our rights, our jurisdiction, basically.
Tamam. Nasıl
Well,
geçti sence bugün?
You were so hungover that you couldn't keep it down when we approached the hanged man. So we didn't even inspect the body. And there's still much to do at the crime scene too. We didn't search it thoroughly enough.
he would have put all of this more harshly, but he doesn't want you to feel completely discouraged. Probably because he's afraid that you'll just give up and keep drinking.
Tamam, yarın çok daha iyi olacağız.
As for the interviews,
Evet,
we were
sorgulara gelecek
unable to find
olursak.
union leader Evrat Claire, much less interview him. So
Bakalım
that's
sendika liderini bulacağız.
We tried to interview the Wild Pans rep, but she asked us to do something for her first. Fine, so be it. I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is. We have to get her to talk to us.
If Kim is emphasizing something this much, it really must be important.
Boşu hatırlamaya çalışıyorum.
Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice? It's impressive, especially for a man your age, and in those hills. Nice shoes, by the
Sağ ol.
way. I like the green. Goes with the orange. They're quite
Interesting,
limited,
evet.
actually. The power officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule. The
Neden
RCM's
mi?
primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play
okay.
any part in the economic structure of Revachol.
Hoş geldin Ahmet'im, aleykümselam.
Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station. Officers of the
Okay.
RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM. We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station call slip. It prevents confusion and overcrowding. You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection.
Tamam, daha
When
kötüye
power
getirdin
calls
söyle.
you come. But power itself is a fragile trick of perception.
We
Peki
are permitted
direnmede?
to use whatever force we deem necessary,
Oo.
even lethal.
Peki.
Yes,
Hiçbirini öldürdü mü?
the last time was 4 years ago.
4 sene
He
önce.
says it matter-of-factly and moves on.
Hüküm giydirdiğimiz kişilere ne oluyor? Evet.
We arrest and send them to coalition government court.
Mahkemeye yolluyormuşuz.
And La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them.
Ben
That's an
bilmiyordum. ha.
improbability, perhaps even impossibility.
Yani
Precinct
emin
41
değilim.
is known for a higher than average rate of police violence.
Oo, peki.
He's not judging you. He's respectfully acknowledging the difficulty
Yani
of working.
zor bir yerde çalışıyormuş. Bir
You
kere
have to
birini
show
öldürürsem
compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In this
Ha,
case,
partnerimiz.
not a
Okey,
good
tamam.
position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly by cross-examining you for inconsistencies.
Tamam,
The
kuralları
coalition
kim gösteriyor?
government and the moral intern more broadly.
En
The
merkezi.
RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less. Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM.
Üye kurulmamıza izin verildi demek tabii.
Silence. A great comment to such a conundrum. I have a
Interesting.
cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
Böyle yapıyor adam ya.
He looks so devastatedly cool with that cigarette.
Hayır hayır. Hiçbir şey kullanmıyoruz. Kendimizi toplayalım bak. Cesedin yanına bile yaklaşamadık.
Yes.
Ha.
It's been a long and eventful day. The
En
Moralists
merkezliler ne?
International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed. They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world. The
Ne
moral
düşünüyorsun?
intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
It is more than that. There's some kind of affection in him.
Yes, I did, when I was younger. In my 20s, I considered myself a moralist. A blue forget-me-not, a piece of the sky.
That's another leitmotif associated with moralism.
But the years have changed that. I don't know what I believe in now. No, I believe in the RCM. That's enough for me.
İnsan
What
ne
do they
inanıyorlar?
believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they are just
Technocrat.
technocrats.
Those others say they continue the humanist project set forth by Dolores Day.
Peki
Interesting
sembolü
question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their
Mavi
motto
bir
is love,
unutma beni
compassion,
çiçeği.
self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
Something kind and usual. Something almost self-explanatory. Something ominous.
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me. Do you?
Ki başka bir Allah. Öyle mi hemen? Hı. Bunlara ihtiyacımız mı var? Burada bok gibi bir iş mi çıkarmışlar peki? Bilemedim. Saçma. Hadi şunu
In
diyelim.
fact, we would need them even if you didn't think that way. We are in what is called the twilight of international law. The laws we claim to enforce come from the MI. Without them, we are simply vigilantes. Sadly, it is what we already are to the people of Martinez, most of them at least, especially the Union. Vigilantes. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging.
The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. This soldier is the highlight of the day for me, he thinks. This little stick right here. An aerostatic passes overhead, the whiskers of its floodlights on the ground below. Kitsuragi's glasses light up as he looks to the sky. Two glowing circles.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different in land, in Jamrock and the GRIH. It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. This place has fallen between the cracks, the jurisdictions of our two precincts.
Haklısın valla.
We run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works, our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate. Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes.
Peki. Zaman ayırdığınız
It's
için
getting very
teşekkürler.
cold now. Let's go.
Seviyede atladık. Let's go. Görüşürüz Kim. Güle güle. Yapabileceğimiz bir şeyler var mı bakalım.
The window stands broken in its frame. Cold wind blows in. You see some lights shimmering outside, but it's difficult to make out the outlines of the buildings below.
Ben şu gidip şeyle bir konuşmak istiyorum önce.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression.
Sır. Hemen. Evet, bir seviyemiz daha geldi. El yatkınlığı Yapıp yüzümüzü. Gerek var mı bilmiyorum. Mantık ansiklopedi. Otorite verdik. Yanıkken gördüğüm rüyalar. Yüksek bir zekaya sahip ol. Anlaştırma. Yani bu zaten bayağı bir yüksek. Manipülasyondan devam etsek. Retorik neydi? İkna yeteneği. Verdim gitti. Hızlıca bir şeyle konuşmak istiyorum. Ablamız gitmiş.
Greetings on this fine night. What brings you here? The pawn shop is always open.
Ne istiyor? Elektrokimya. Kıyafetlerimize bakalım. Kas gücü, oyunculuk, mantık otorite, artı bir elektrokimya ver. Hop bir elektrokimyada. Artı iki elektrokimyamız
The
oldu.
pockets
Neymiş?
of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Makes you look cool, calm, and collected. Hey,
Neymiş mi?
it's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds you of the fruity juice of apricots. You should inspect it closer if you have time.
Nasıl
Something
yani?
about the wrapper's texture is... By the way, the raw materials were most likely exported from Seaguy, the apricot suzerainty, and processed in Surla clay into the apricot-flavored chewing gum loved by kids of today.
Bayağı işletken.
Greetings on this fine night. What
Kaç
brings
oldu?
you here?
%58. Hızlı kaydetme tuşu neymiş? F5. Şu %50 ile şunu bir tutturalım
Greetings on
bakalım.
this fine night. What brings you here?
Feeling warm and
Dikkat.
enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky
Ceholidon.
bastard, he's probably on Parolidon. It's tough to come by on the street. A
No.
drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow.
I try to keep the shop at a comfortable temperature.
There's a note of indignation in his voice. Interesting. Those triangle patches on his vest, you have a feeling they mean something, like they're similar to the halogen rectangle on your jacket.
I was with the emergency relief brigade, you know, after the People's Pile disaster. Had to take Perolidon for radiation sickness. That's what you were hinting at just now, wasn't it?
He's taken it for mental and emotional, not physical pain these days.
A bad
Okay.
idea. Some poor leftist built a particle decay generator in hopes of bringing affordable electricity to underserved communities. It malfunctioned. Radioactive waste everywhere.
The people's pile was a Type U particle decay generator that failed immediately after entering service, releasing radioactive waste into River Esper, a primitive nuclear reactor, also called a pile.
Nükleer yığından bahsediyor.
Construction began during the Commune of Revachol. The people continued work on it after the Commune fell. They want, needless to say, things didn't work out. An emergency valve defect resulted in steam pressure blowing the turbine, taking the fuel containment vessel up in the explosion. Both the faulty design and lack of finances contributed to the catastrophe.
Nükleer
We
bir
were an
patlama yani.
all-volunteer force, self-organized, tried to help the fire brigades contain the spill. I lived by the river since I was a small boy. The Esperance didn't have the art to let it all go
Şu
to shit
üçgenden
without
bahsediyor.
trying to do something to help out. There wasn't much the volunteer force could do, however. We wasted years in the river mud, years getting sick. There's a reason why everyone's tried to forget any of it ever happened, and why no one has tried to repair or replace the pile. So much disappointment and early deaths, cancer mostly, and no one's, everyone's.
So much bitterness.
Empatimiz
A bunch
çok
of
acı
poor
çekmiş
people
ha.
built themselves a primitive nuclear reactor, hoping for the best. What do you think is going to happen?
Nasıl başladı
The
peki?
cleanup happened 15 years ago. I was young then. Later, my second aunt died. Left me this shack and all the assorted junk in it. So I came to Martinez. People told me don't go there. It's a shithole. I said, people, we just had a nuclear pile meltdown. I'm gonna get as far away from Forburg as I can. Still in the same city, but I like the theory more than the story. Outward movement, not vortices.
Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man.
Okay.
Sure thing.
Buradaydı galiba değil mi?
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer, and I don't like keeping...
He's not telling you the whole story.
Okay.
It seems he's trying to spare you.
Tam olarak bunu
You
istiyorum.
weren't quiet yourself, officer.
Kendimiz de
You
değilmişiz.
were very distraught. You said the gun was a threat to your life and that you can't trust yourself with it tonight, and that you need the money. When I said that I don't normally buy firearms, you put the gun barrel in your mouth and sort of sucked on it. Then I agreed to take it. $15. No apologies necessary, officer. Sure, man.
Ha. Uyuşturucu istemiyoruz. Teşekkürler. Yeterince bilgiyi aldık. Elim ve yatalım. Şunu merak ettim şunu. Evet, burada biraz daha bir şeyler var. Kim abimizle gelelim. Belki bize yardımcı olur bir şey çıkarsa. O yüzden hiç riske girmeden şu vakit.
You should pick that fat, juicy cigarette butt from the tray, light it up, and smoke the living shit out of it. The living shit. Your mesolimbic reward pathway does not mince words. It once smokes.
Ben
Who
sigara içiyor muyum?
knows what you are? A monster, a murderer, the gnome of Jeroma? You feel like a smoker. How very astute of you. This renders it ineffectual. You should look for a whole cigarette, or better yet, an entire pack. Strike that. A carton. Make sure they're all healthy and able-bodied.
The
Get direkt ya.
idea seems to make your neck expand. Suddenly, the garish tie feels very snug.
Like a cat rubbing itself against its owner's calves. A cat that wants you to smoke a lot. Good.
Düşüneyim.
Thinking about yummy cigarettes in your mouth is the next best thing. And when you're done, plus, smoking them gives massive bonuses.
Evet, sigara bul ve iç görevi aldım. Wow. Kapat abiciğim, kapat.
The
Hadi
bed is
yatalım.
cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look awful.
The option to go to sleep becomes available every night after 9 p.m.
Teşekkür ederiz öğretici. Yeter kırıldım. Evet. İlk defa
The sheets
uyuyoruz.
make once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close your eyes.
Gözlerimiz.
And then sleep. And then sleep doesn't come.
Ama uyuyamıyorsun. Ama uyumak istiyorum.
Obviously, you're in bed with your eyes closed, but it's not happening.
Neden?
Maybe it's the bed's fault. Its
Nasıl kontrol
synthetic
ediyorum?
filling has separated into hard lumps. The pillowcase smells oddly.
Bunun tuhaf bir kokusu var.
It barely covers your toes, stretching over your soft belly. This is your body here, intimate and warm, breathing. Under your thrumming eyelids, you see a dizzying array of colors. You won't get off this carousel quite so easily. It's a
Diğer
little
tarafa
better.
döneceğim.
Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you
İlk
is still
kısmını hala
trying to
bakmaya
solve
çalışıyorum.
the case, isn't it? Something to
Öyle
do with, what was it that the lieutenant said? Union? And it's gone again. Your thoughts lost between the slowing brain waves.
Evet, gece uyurken yaptığımız şeyleri şu an canlandırıyorum bize.
Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your sleep and images start forming.
Uyuduk herhalde. Gerçekten. Aha. Aha, bende vallahi. Önce bu tarafa gitmeyi deneyeceğim. Gidemiyorum bu arada, götürme. Aha.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood?
Bir ay yaşın şişmiş cesedi. Çocukluğunun kokusunu hatırlıyor musun?
What it says on the can, Harry.
Harry.
Answer the question. Do you remember your wife's hand on your face?
Çin'in ellerinin yüzünü kavrayışını hatırlıyor musun?
You know who I am. I'm the bad day. The one where you ask her, and then later in the streets, wandering. It's the worst day of all time, Harry dear. And it's coming. She will hear about it on the phone. Reality will turn into a grotesque nightmare. This will be the last thing you did to her.
Hayatının aşkını hatırlıyor musun?
Do you remember the love of your life?
Kim
Do
dedi?
you remember the warmth of her thighs? between her legs and in her mouth.
Kesin terk edilmişizdir.
That's right, funky baby. And you just stood there. One hand on the bottle and the other on your dick. Watching her go. Let it all be dragged away from you. Tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours? No, it's gone. 3 times gone and never coming back.
Başaramadım.
You failed, Elysium.
Elysium'u hayal kırıklığına uğrattın. Ben sonra
Everything. The pale and the useless. On the surface. The outer magnetosphere. Burning, furious truth. 8,000 years of written history. You really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion people. And you failed every single one of them. No, you haven't. You're just sleep talking. And the act is wearing thin, too. The spots on the disco ball fade around you. You'll be back in those cold snakeskins in no time, sweating up the bed. Stinky boy.
limbik sistemi kokuşmuş oldu.
You're not coming back from shit, thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours, bumping into things and acting like a clown. You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone. The bed rises to meet you. A thin, sleep-like state.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Some kind of new type of hangover.
Of, bir tür daha mı var?
Oh yes, party boy, and it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes too. So soon already. A silent alarm goes off in your head like clockwork, barely let you sleep at all. It's time to go to work in the shit factory.
Evet, moralimiz arttı. Reis iyi misin? Sabah 7:30. Bir güne daha.
Good going, buddy.
Böyle devam kardeşim. Neydi bu?
Just a dream. You have ones like that all
Bu
the
sabah
time.
dün geceden daha kötü
You feel
hissediyorsun.
even worse this morning than you did last night. You
Ne
mean,
oluyor?
why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. Detectives need to be able to think.
Yok, gayet
That's
iyisin canım.
not really true. Your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster. Time to get some more.
Uyuşturucudan arındık şu anda.
Don't do that. Stay strong.
Yapma.
The hangover will wear off. You don't need to keep doing this to yourself.
Evet, toz ne?
Speed is a potent central nervous system stimulant. It kept you propped up all day yesterday, despite your debilitating hangover. You
Nasıl
got up
yani?
from this floor because of a holy vow you made 16 years ago with me. To wake up exactly 7:30 every morning until the day you die.
Oo.
Don't be silly. There was no vow. You were high on speed.
Yo
That
yo
was
yo.
the only reason you got up. Are you
Uyuşturucu
sure?
yok.
Ready to live as this pathetic shell of yourself for days? Suit
İstemiyorum.
yourself. slow, sad shell man. See how you do without your spark.
Hiçbir şey yok. Hiçbir şey yok. Alabiliyor muyum?
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression.
Daha fazla içinden geçeriz. Hiç uğraşamayacağım onunla.
The bed
Yasal
is still
toplama.
cold from the broken window.
Evet, yeni bir gün daha. O zaman bir sonraki bölümde güne devam edelim.